Introducing the all-new Corolla.
The U.S. Government Accountability Office has released a report on the Guam military buildup highlighting the fact that Guam's infrastructure needs a lot of improvement to meet the demands of the buildup, even though the buildup has been significantly scaled down. Specifically, the report says that, quote, the reliability, capacity, and age of much of the public infrastructure, especially the island's utilities, indicate a need for additional upgrades to meet current and future demands related to the realignment.
It's news that we don't really want to hear because we don't want it to put in detriment the buildup, right? But it is reality.
The report recommends that DoD re-examine the cost of the buildup, given its reduction in scope from 8,000 Marines and their families to somewhere around 5,000 Marines.
We feel wholeheartedly that DoD has a plan to engage with the government of Guam in the next 6 months to exactly do that, revalidate, the impacts, and get from our agencies what we think the costs are going to be to accommodate a Marine base here. Legislative
Chairman of the buildup, Senator Frank Uggan Jr., says that Guam has been taking steps to improve its infrastructure.
We just gave authorization for $450 million for Guam Water Works Authority for water, wastewater projects. They just acquired $175 million for that. So that's moving in the right direction in terms of correcting some of the deficiencies that were identified before. But as we continue to move forward, we recognize that there are some infrastructure problems here on Guam that we need to continue to work on.
We Are Guahan's Leven Camacho is concerned by some parts of the report that indicate that DoD rarely directly funds improvements to the infrastructure of local communities that it impacts. Camacho is concerned because he says Guam should not get stuck with the bill.
The real question is our community, who we have on the island now, going to be forced to pay for the upgrades? And the utilities, they talk about our water bill could average $250 if we don't get adequate funding for our wastewater treatment and for our drinking water, which is more than double what most people pay now. And my water bill isn't even close to that. But can you imagine, by 2020, our water bills will be $250 unless we get appropriate funding.
The GAO report recommends that DoD take a closer look at the $400 million it has requested to pay for upgrades to Guam's northern water and wastewater system. The GAO wants DoD to differentiate between the direct and indirect impacts to the northern wastewater system, and the GAO seems to indicate that DoD should only consider funding direct impacts. This could potentially mean a further reduction in funding. CCU Chairman Simon Sanchez says that his stance, and GovGuam's stance, remains the same with regards to needed infrastructure improvements.
But there's still going to be an impact, and the government of Guam has been very consistent since Governor Camacho, Governor Calvo, all the legislature, all of us in the utilities have said, you pay for the impact, DoD, of this buildup, whatever it is. The bottom line is this: whatever direct and indirect impacts are caused by the new buildup, those need to be paid by DoD or the federal government in some way.